I can talk. Oh. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a good morning in this Cape Town heat wave. On behalf of MICT SETA, a warm greeting to each and every one of you. We welcome you to the 2026 MICT SETA SDF Capacity Building Workshop. My name is Tikizwa Khoto. I'm the Regional Manager for the Western Cape, also overseeing the Northern Cape Province. And today, present is our Senior Manager, Ms. Bontle Mukwena, our SSP Manager, Ms. Kanyisa Jack, Mr. Abungile Toti, our researcher, Ms. Karabo Mukwena, our SSP advisor. I know everyone in this room knows Karabo. Karabo has been a steady force throughout the years. And I'm sure, Karabo, you can say hi so that everyone can see. Karabo has been a steady force within the MICT SETA, supporting all these SDFs over the years, being very patient with each and every one of you. You all can attest to that, the patience and the support she provides to each and everyone. And there are also head office staff who are present here today, and our regional staff. You are all welcome. And we as a MICT SETA, we do acknowledge your attendance and your presence. We know you have busy schedules. And we also welcome those who have connected virtually. Without wasting any time, we all know what we're here to do. We're here today, it's about the LMS, Learner Management System, and how you will capture your WSPs and your ATRs. So the purpose of this meeting for today is to enable all employers within the MICT sector to capture their workplace skills plans, their annual training reports, your pivotal training plans, and your pivotal training reports. And then once all these skills plans and reports have been captured on the LMS, then you as employers, you will be able to keep track of the progress towards the achievement of your skills development goals. And then you will ask yourself, why? What is it? How is it going to benefit me? How is this workshop going to benefit me today? So the system we are going to show you today, although we all know that it will provide information, data that we'll be capturing, and this data is not just for MICT SETA use. Yes, we use it, but also government stakeholders use the same data. Non-governmental organizations, they also tap into this data that we collect as MICT SETA. So hence the reason why you as SDFs, when you capture that information, make sure that you have contacted people within the company. If you are within the company or if you're in ISDF, you just have to make sure that the information that I'm going to capture for MICT SETA, this is not the information that's just going to sit on my computer or on my laptop. This information is utilized by the nation, by the country as a whole. And with this information, it enables MICT SETA to make a priority skills list. Our researcher, one time, if you're old school like me, I was used to scarce and critical skills. And Mr. Tsotsi corrected me. Madam, we no longer use that term. I say, thank you. Yeah, so that's where we also formulated that list from the information that we'll be getting from you guys So that list is very important. As I mentioned earlier, it's utilized by each and every governmental organization within our country. So let's make sure that the information we capture is credible. Let us not have the same priority skills list over the past 20 years. You're still seeing the same list. Then you ask yourself, what is this? Does MICT SETA really do their research each and every year? Why are we keep on seeing the same priority skills list? So we depend on you. We know you are the employer reps. You know what's happening there on the ground. You know when you recruit which gaps are missing. So we want to know that information. It will assist us in the long run, assist each and every one of us. Recruitment becomes seamless. Everything just falls into place. Also, universities will follow the correct skills list to train our learners because we have inputted the correct skills gaps that are needed. And the last benefit for you capturing the WSPs for us, if it's approved, your plans and your reports, if they are approved by MICT SETA, then you as an employer, you'll be entitled to receive up to 20% of your levies back. That will be the main one. And then we'll also be having our IT department. They are here. They'll be taking us through the system for registration, or the LMS. The LMS is run by us, MICT SETA. And access to this LMS is granted only to employer-appointed SDFs. Your employer, if you're an independent SDF, it needs to give or grant permission to the SETA. So when you're registering as an SDF, what the SETA requires from you, you just supply your personal details and that letter from the employer. So without that letter from the employer, the SDF registration will not be approved by the SETA. And then once approval is granted, the SDF will receive notification of their approval via email. And then only once you get those credentials, you'll be able to use your login ID and password. And then once you are inside the system, then you'll start capturing your information. Yeah, as I said, our IT team is here today. They will give us a practical demonstration on how this LMS works. That sums it up why we are here today for the SDF workshop. I know all of you got the agenda for today. It's a full agenda. It's a full agenda which will end at about 1 o'clock. So we'll be also having some Q&A sessions in between after presentations. I think the first Q&A will take after Abongile. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome Ms. Bontle Mokoena, our Senior Sector Skills Plan Manager, on stage.
Thank you, Gqekizwa. May I call you Program Director, as you'll direct the program for us this morning. Moloeni, good morning. Hoi More, welcome to the Western Cape Skills Development Facilitator Workshop. My name is Bontle Mokoena. I'm the Senior Manager, Sector Skills Planning at MICT SETA. I am here with the team, as Tikizwa indicated. We are the team based in Johannesburg who are responsible for managing the WSP ATR process. So we are here once again to support you in the process towards submission. As you are aware, the system was opened on the 23rd of January 2026. There is intention there to allow you to have enough time to complete your WSP ATR. As you may know, we frown upon requests for extensions, so we opened the system early to allow you to start working on your WSP ATR. If you are an external SDF working towards different or multiple WSP ATRs for different companies, that will also should allow you enough time to complete or to start towards the deadline, which is April 2026 every year. I'll touch on the extensions later, but before I go in, I would like to thank you as our valued stakeholders for submitting your WSP ATRs every year promptly. We've seen a growth in the submissions of WSP ATR over the last 3 years. Western Cape still remains our second highest province in terms of submissions, so we appreciate the time that you take to claim back your money. Just to touch on the WSP ATR 2025 season or process, that process is still underway. It has not been concluded. It will conclude at the end of our financial year, which is March 2026. In terms of that process, we still have those employers who have not received their mandatory grants or their applications have not been approved solely because there is still outstanding documentation. These could relate to your banking details not being accurate at the time of submission. This could relate to your authorization form not being adequately signed. So we are still sitting with those applications. I think it's now just below 100. The team has been communicated with the affected employers and SDFs. Some have not responded. If you are affected or if you know that the company you're representing has not received their grant payment, it means your application has not been approved as yet. The MICT SETA takes a developmental process in terms of this process, so we do not decline your application if there are things that you could fix that are relating to supporting documentation. So we urge you to take our reminders serious. The team is not allowed to call you anymore or send you emails, as we've done that religiously in the last 7 months. What we are doing in this month is sending you final reminder letter for submission. In that letter, we're indicating that failure to submit the outstanding documentation, as we've communicated previously. It means if you don't submit by the end of March, the last day of March at 23:59, this will be on the system, or however way they would have communicated with you, you will forfeit the 20% that you're supposed to claim back. Once that date has passed, unfortunately, we will not be entertaining any requests to amend or to appeal. The legislation does not allow us to do that. The legislation is very clear, it's very strict. Once the end of March passes, which is the end of our financial year, that money will automatically go into the discretionary grant. So that money will go back into training for the learning programs that we have at MICT SETA. So on that note, I would like to urge you, if you are affected by that, or if you think that the company you represent, maybe they have not received the grant, you would know if you received the grant or not. Please try and amend, otherwise you would have lost that money. We see this issue also where there are changes in SDFs. One can leave, there's a new one. Sometimes the onboarding is not done as it should. Sometimes people use the old SDFs login details. You are not allowed to do that. On the LMS system, you are allowed to register a new SDF. If there is a change in the SDF, you are allowed to onboard a new one. There is a process the team will take you through. So that is a key outstanding matter that I wanted to delve on. So in this session today, we are going to take you through the updates. There are updates on the learner management system that we use. Some of these updates, we've done them due to directives from the Department of Higher Education and Training. also in terms of alignment to the legislation. So the team will take you through. We have also updated our SDF reference manual. We made it more interactive. A demonstration of that will also be done in the session. We also have a big team that supports the process on our side. If you had experience with us or you needed assistance with us, you would know that we respond to your query within 72 hours as per the MICT SETA protocol. I know my team is quite active in trying to resolve queries, so we are also here today. If there's anything that you have outstanding, they should be able to assist you before you leave this building today. And just to say that we're using the Organizing Framework for Occupations version 2021. That is the most recent version. It might say 2021, it does not mean that there has not been any updates on it. And any updates that are required on the OFO are actually updates that should be, or requests that should be submitted by the sector, meaning employers and employer bodies. The nature of the OFO is to standardize occupations. So an occupation and a job are not the same thing. The team will take you through. So there is one occupation on the OFO as an example that is linked to an OFO code. There may be many jobs that are actually linked to that occupation or mapped towards that occupation. So these are the things that the team will take you through, also for us to avoid having job titles referred to as occupations. They are not the same. As companies prefer to call certain jobs in a particular way or with a particular title or name, that title may not be on the OFO, but it does not mean that occupation is not there. So we must guard against us wanting what we use in our workplaces as opposed to what the occupation is about. So if you go through the OFO in its own, it will actually guide you in terms of what that job, how do you map the job to the occupation, because it has different descriptors, etc., that are linked to the tasks that are part of that job. So I will advise you to also listen attentively on that presentation that will guide you in terms of how you distinguish between a job and an occupation, and how that can help you in terms of mapping the different people within your organizations to the occupation that is relevant to them. Lastly, just as information sharing, if you listen to the State of the Nation address almost 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was mention of SETA reforms that are going to come into place in the future. There was no date indicated when these will come into place, so this is just for information sharing. I don't have any further information except that was said there. What I know is that there is a proposal for the reform for mandatory grants to increase from 20% to 40%. I don't know if you're aware of that. So these are the things that are currently being done in the pipeline. There will be many consultations that will take place, as that means that will require legislation change. If some of you are aware that there's been an outstanding case with BUSA around the reduction of the mandatory grant that was done, I think, almost 10 years ago. That case was never resolved. It's still sub judice. So the reform might be another way of actually addressing that issue. But we will only know once these changes come, then we will communicate. But the burden of training will be put on the employer once that change happens, because now you will be able to claim more back, meaning you should be able to take that money back to even train more. So there will be certain changes that will happen through those reforms. And I think those reforms have also been informed by the criticism around how the whole system works. So they're trying to align it in terms of what the research is also saying on how is the most impactful way of doing training in the country, etc. So I'm here to also remind you that your WSP ATRs are due at the end of April 2026. We frown upon extensions, so extensions will only be granted in extenuating circumstances. If you need an extension, you need to apply before the end of April 2026. It must be done in writing. It must be done on the company letterhead. It must not be done by the SDF. The SDF is not authorized to request an extension. So we'll stress that as well in the presentation. The SDF is not allowed to request for an extension. The person who signs the authorization page is the one that should be signing that letter for request for extension. It must be extenuating circumstances. Also means it must be things that could not be avoided. We will not consider sick leave that happened a while back as a request for extension. We will not accept maternity leave as a reason for an extension. If somebody needs to go to maternity leave, proper arrangements needs to be made on time for the next person to take over the role. We will not accept new SDF taking place because you've had enough time to plan around the submission. If you needed to appoint a new SDF to take over the role, it's up to you as the employer to make sure that your planning is on time. So I think what we're trying to say is that avoid requesting for an extension, except in extenuating circumstances that you need to motivate for and you need to submit evidence. That decision also is not ours, it's the MICT SETA board's decision, so it's at the discretion of the board to grant you an extension. It does not mean that you've submitted a request for extension that it will be granted. We also don't know. We will have to be guided by the reasons that have been put forward, also the evidence that has been put forward. On that note, I would like to thank you for your time and wish you well with the session and good luck with your submissions.
Thank you, Bontle, for that information. Quite important information to take home. The system is open. So we have from January until April. That's quite a long time. Yeah, it's quite a long time. Let's not all wait for April, huh? And we know April, there's lots of holidays there. Yeah. And good to note also that all four codes version is still the same, 2021, so there's no change there. No extensions, because the process is very legislated. I'm sure everyone here, you won't get any extension. Okay, now on the stage, I'd like to welcome our researcher, Mr. Abongile Tsutsi.
Good morning, colleagues. Thank you for this opportunity to be presenting to you the processes in terms of the sector skills planning. I just would like maybe to highlight what my presentation will be dealing with. If you can maybe go to the next slide, please. Thanks. So what I would like maybe to be presenting to you this morning is the MICT SETA mandate, and I will also speak to the workplace skills plan and the annual training reports, processes and sector skills plan process. In addition, I'll speak about the OFO, which is very important tool that is used to classify occupations in terms of their jobs, tasks, and so forth. And I will speak into, I think that will be the last item that I will deal with. I will also speak to the update that we have made in terms of the integrated learner management system sections. In particular, certain forms we have revised according to the department's recommendation in terms of how the SSP framework need to look like in terms of the information that need to be fed on into the WSP ATR. So after that, we will then go to the SDF demonstration, which is going to be done by the ICT team. So if you can move then to the next slide. Oh, sorry. Sorry, colleagues, I'm expecting the team to be supporting me, yet I have a tool next to me. You see, to work for the technology SETA, but not in a very technical side of the things, sometimes you get things not in the right way. But yeah. So colleagues, just in terms of the SETA mandate, so we are mandated by the Skills Development Act, Act number 97 of 1998. So one of the amongst our subsectors, about 5 subsectors. Some of those subsectors, they include, amongst others, the advertisement, film and electronic media, electronics, information technology, and communications. So the sector skills plan, which is also the very key part of our departmental responsibility, is also the very important part that we are expected as the MICT SETA, in particular the SSP division, to develop. The MICT SETA is mandated by the section 10 of 1A of the SDA to develop the sector skills plan. This is a very, very important document. I guess I would like to mention here the reason why Sistriki was mentioning earlier, including our senior manager, to say we need to be careful of what kind of information we feed into the system, especially when you're submitting your WSP ATR, because it becomes very instrumental when we finalize the reporting or the development of the SSP to be as accurate as possible, because in the end of the day, not only the SSP informs our planning in terms of developing our annual performance plan as well as a strategic plan, but that information also feed to the department, including the other government department like your Home Affairs, to say the SETAs are saying these are the scarce skills, as an example. So we just need to be careful that we are very accurate when we feed the data to the system. One of the things that have been mentioned that are very important is that earlier our senior manager was saying we need to, for example, instead of focusing to say, my organization has a new occupation, rather go and check in the OFO, what are some of the tasks that the person that you believe is a new occupation that he or she is undertaking. So those tasks, they speak to, you will find that there's occupation that already exists. It's just that it's not presented in the same name that you have in your own organization. So our primary mandate, of course, as a SETA is to address the skill shortages of the country. In particular, in our own sector, as a MICT sector, focusing on the specific subsectors that I have mentioned. So now I would like to speak to the WSP ATR processes. Importantly, in terms of the WSP ATR plan, this is the plan and the document that document the skills need of a company, and it outlines how organization will address the training and skills development requirements, support employers in the recognition and implementation of the various skills development programs. Some of the examples, of course, is your learnership, your skills programs, and so forth, internships, and so forth. The annual training report, this is a report that speaks to the report on education and training interventions that were delivered in the past year, and the pivotal training plan. This speaks to, of course, is the plan that addresses professional, vocational, technical, and academic learning programs in your organization. The pivotal training report, this speaks to the report on the professional, vocational, technical, and academic learning program that were delivered in the past year. So in terms of the Annexure 2 WSP ATR mandatory requirements, I think we need to make an emphasis here. I think this was already mentioned by the opening from our senior manager, that there is an authorization form that need to be signed by the organization when they're submitting their WSP ATR. It is done in 2 forms. For example, this is different if your organization has, for example, about employers below 50, as opposed to an organization that has 15 plus employees. So I think what I'm suggesting to say is you need to be careful to understand what kind of the requirements suit your organization in terms of the number of employees. And so one of those is that, so I would like maybe to speak to who's supposed to be signing the authorization form. So I will speak on to this, the requirement for the company that has about 50 employees and the companies that has 50 and more employees. So we are saying the details and the signature of employer and employee representative are required on a condition the organization has 50 or more employees. And also the employee representative refers to the active labor union in terms of the Labor Relations Act. And of course, the skills accord signed by the NEDLEC demands that the WSP ATR are consulted with the organized labor before approved by the employer. So this is a very, very important consultation process that needs to take place within your organization before you have a final submission of your WSP ATR, especially for companies that have 50 plus employees. Okay, so also we need updated minutes to be uploaded in of the skills development or training committee or related committee that you may have in your organization. I understand some organizations, they always would, sometimes they would raise a point of say, in my organization, there's no labor union. But there are other processes within your organization that inform your WSP ATR submission. It could be employer, employee, skills development committee, whatever the case may be. But the key thing is that you make sure that your submission is informed by the representation of not only you as an employer, in the case of the employer, but also is informed by the participation of the employees within the organization. In that case, of course, that is where we speak of the representation, the employee representative. And the extension of the WSP ATR submission, a request for an extension can only be applied for on or before 30 April of every year. It must be a formal written communication presented on a company letterhead. This is very important because this also goes to specific committees within our organization to ensure that it get recognized and also granted as long as the reasoning around why you want extensions are well explicitly explained in your request for extension. Now, I just would like to maybe draw your attention in terms of the trends that we have observed over the years in the submission of the WSP and ATRs. I think there has been a steady improvement across the board. If you see, for example, starting from the 2021-2022 financial year up to 25-26. So you can see that there has been a steady improvement in the submissions. But though we have experienced this improvement, this doesn't suggest that the accuracy of the data has been that good, which is some of the things that we are still crying as a SETAs, in particular, even as a MICT SETA to be specific, that we need maybe employers and SDF that are responsible for submission of the WSP, that they need to take into account all the important information or how they report their data. For example, what I was mentioning earlier to say, you shouldn't just say the occupation is new. Just look at the tax and see if that exists already in the OFO. Because some of the discrepancies about the idea of coming to say this is a new occupation, will it be supported if it's something that is not recognized per se? And what kind of disruption that does in the labor market reporting by the other authorities that work with the SETAs, like your, say, for example, DHEAD and Home Affairs. I'm talking this in the case of maybe companies recommending that they need to recruit a particular skill outside the country. So it's very important that we feed the system with accurate data based on the correct OFO tasks, and that speaks to, of course, jobs as well as the occupations itself. So in terms of how the highest submitting province in terms of the WSP is Gauteng, that is sitting at 65%. And of course, in terms of the Western Cape and Northern Cape, Western Cape has been around about, the latest one is it's about 20%, which that is about 405 companies that have submitted. and Northern Cape is 1%, that is about 11 companies. So who qualifies for mandatory grant? So once you have done all this process of submitting your WSP, and how, then who qualifies for mandatory grant? So these are some of the qualifying criteria. So you must be first, as mandated by the Skills Development Act of Skills Development Levies Act 9 of 1999. Each month, organization with a total annual payroll of 500,000 and more contribute 1% payroll in a form of skills development levy to the South African Revenue Services. So there are levies, these are levies that are paid back by the SETA to companies to fulfill requirement. If the company fulfills the requirement to receive the grant. The submission of the WSP ATR allows the company to claim the 20% of the mandatory grant back to them to further improve the skills development within their own organizations. And this, you need to know this, that to qualify and to receive the mandatory grant, the levy-paying employer has to meet the following criteria. This is very important. Be registered with the MICT SETA in terms of Skills Development Levies Act, and be up to date in terms of your levy payment. All levy payment need to be up to date at the time of the approval and the reporting period, and must have an SDF that is in-house, employed as SDF to conduct the entire process of submission of the WSP ATR, and the WSP is submitted by end of April annually. So you can't come in May and say, you are submitting your WSP and expect that it get approved, unless, of course, you did the request for extension before the end of the date April each year, if you wanted an extension. And of course, your extension was granted by the SETA. So the annual training report on a previous reporting period has been submitted and implemented according to a prescription implementation by the MICT SETA. So it's key that if you're expecting to get your mandatory grant back, you must have met the requirement in terms of the submission, all the details or the information that is required, and also you have signed your authorization forms and so forth. If you are a company that has 50 plus employees, you have all the representatives presented in that authorization form. So now I would like to speak in terms of the sector skills plan. This is very, very important. As I mentioned earlier, to say, though the submission of the WSP ATR is important for you as an organization to continue with the process of developing your employees over time, and of course, further contribute to the economic growth and so forth. But for us as a SETA, is also this the information that you feed into our system, that it's very important, as it informs our planning and to expand the skills development in our own different subsectors or support the industry growth. So, as a SETA, we use the WSP ATR to develop the sector skills plan. Though there are other array of processes that take place. For example, we have interviews, we'll have focus group sessions, but the WSP in the main is the one that contributes a lot in terms of to profile the sector in terms of existing skills and so forth. We can come with interviews as a qualitative data that also informs the SSP, but in the main, we rely on your WSP ATR to inform our SSP. So the sector skills planning unit within the MICT SETA is responsible for the submission of the WSP ATR and conducting the labor market research to develop a credible sector skills plan. That this speaks back to what I was mentioning earlier. So WSP data is used for the employment profile to identify skills gaps, focus future skills needs, monitor training and development efforts, engage stakeholder in terms of what is happening in the sector, develop targeted training programs. I think I need to emphasize again, based on what I have said earlier, to say, after we have done all of this process, you submitted your WSP, we then develop the sector skills plan. We use that information then to inform our annual performance plans and inform our, of course, our medium-term strategic plan to say this is what the sector is saying, though we update this on an annual basis through the APP. But the key thing is that is to say what informs the numbers that you have in your annual performance plan. Did you have research that you've conducted? What kind of information that came through your SSP? So that is the reason why I was emphasizing earlier to say we need to be, as employers, we need to be careful to ensure that accurate data is fed into the submission of your WSP ATR. So this is the approach that we undertake in terms of the development of sector skills plan. First, we review the previous sector skills plan that was developed, and then we will do the desktop research, which involves, amongst other things, the literature review and data analysis. So it could be even the some of the things we consult, of course, or documentation is like we can do the document analysis of what is happening in the sector using various reports like your SARS, it could be Stat SA, it could be, and many other data sources that can inform our labor market profile. And then we do the field research that I was mentioning, that this include, amongst other things, interviews, focus group. And I would like to also urge you that whenever you get invite, whether it's shown or is presented in our LinkedIn page and so forth, please, maybe if you know that you've got time, you can always raise your hand and say, I've got something that I know about my subsector that I would like to say to you as MICT SETA. That is very important to participate in these interviews and focus group sessions. And also, once we have done that process, then we analyze we perform the analysis of the focus groups and we consolidate to make the final SSP. Now we would like to speak about, in fact, into what I briefly alluded to earlier, which is the organizing framework for occupations. This is a very important tool that we need to consider when we do our submission of the WSP ATR. What is the organizing framework for occupations? The organizing framework for occupation is a classification system used primarily in South Africa to categorize and classify occupations in the labor market. So this tool is used to maybe understand occupations on present occupations aligned to specific tasks and duties. The L4 becomes an important tool for ensuring that the data used to compile the WSP is correct. So one of the things we emphasize that I would like again to urge the colleagues to look into is to make sure that you don't interpret the occupations on the basis of just the pure name of the occupation, but look into the issues relating to what are the tasks that are performed by that particular person so that you can map correctly when you're making your submission of the WSP ATR. So the L4 is the DHEAD primary tool to identify, report, and monitor skills demand and supply in the South African labor market. The occupations in the L4 represent a category that encompasses several jobs. For example, occupation such as software developer also covers specifications such as software designer, software architect, and a software engineer. So those are some of the dynamics that we need to be careful of when we then submit our WSP ATR. The framework is updated and published every 2 years, though I would like to indicate that it has at least not been as up to date. We are still using the 2021 version. That is the one you have to consider when you do your submission of the WSP ATR. So remember, as a SETA, we are not responsible for the update of the OF4, though we make contribution to our employers to say this is what we think it should be changed in the OF4. Of course, such it's done through a proper consultation with the employers to say, oh, here's what has happened in the sector. These are some of the changes in particular occupations and so forth. And then we see if that can be accepted to be included in the OF4. So some of the key terminologies in the L4, the job is a set of tasks and duties carried out by one person for a particular employer. A job has description that sets out the details of the task. duties and standard performance to be achieved. So an occupation is a set of tasks, duties characterized by a high degree of similarity. So this is just in a very high level the structure of the OFO. So you'll have it's like 8 starting from the manager going down up to the elementary occupations. So you just need to understand in terms of the course that are aligned to each of the level of your occupation. For example, if you speak to professionals, that will be 2021 -2 and numbers and so forth. So I will show you briefly in the next page. So if you look, for example, just what I said, that for a professional, the number will start with a particular update of the OFO period, which is 2021 and -2 professionals. That is, for example, your major group and so forth, subgroup, and you can see how they then that is detailed down up to the 6-digit, which is the actual occupation. So you see, we start from major group, sub-major group, minor group, unit group, and then to an occupation. So the numbers are key in terms of just to be sure that you align that when you speak now to an occupation, it has to be a 6-digit, also making reference to a particular year of the OFO update. So in terms of, now in this section, I would speak in particular in terms of some of the changes that we have made or updated in the integrated learner management system. In particular, certain forms, we have made some updates. I think Form 1, 3, 4, and 12. But let me just go to the next slide. So what has changed? The new requirement under SDF registration and confirmation of existing SDF details. Here is what has changed. SDF registration details. SDFs are required to upload copies. Copies of certified IDs not older than 6 months. That has been changed there, and when registering or confirming their SDF details in the system. And the other thing we are saying there too is that linking of company details to SDF profile. So if you say you are an SDF for a particular organization or 2 or 3 or more organizations, SDF are required to load copies of the CIP document when linking represented companies to their SDF profile. So now just maybe to focus on this part, this is also very important in terms of the SSP development. Some of the forms that we've made some changes is Form 3, 4, and 12, as I have mentioned. In terms of Form 3, we renamed the hard-to-fill vacancies, and then also what we've done is that we have new definitions and reasons for difficulty added. So meaning if you're saying it was difficult to find a software engineer, so we have added a portion to say you must provide reasons why. And then Form 4 we renamed to skills. It has been renamed to skills gaps, and also the new definition and expanded intervention fields. And in terms of Form 12, chain drivers and 4IR technologies, also we provided a new definition and emerging occupations field. So why have we done this? Just for the benefit of you all colleagues here, is that this is informed by the Department of Higher Education SSP framework, that these the old terms like your SCARS, critical skills, those terms are no longer being used. So these are some of the terms that are being used, and then this is like a standard format or terminologies that are being used even in terms of the reporting or developing our sector skills plan. So that what has changed, you will note that when you start, if you haven't started with the submission of your WSP ATR. Okay, so I already alluded in some of these details. Just maybe I would like to expand a bit. So for Form 3, hard-to-fill vacancies, we speak to, so there's a new definition. The definition says the hard-to-fill vacancy is a vacancy that an employer was unable to fill within the 12 months period, or it took longer than 12 months to find a suitable candidate for such position. Key changes at a glance: a form officially renamed to hard to fill vacancies from the scarce skills. So you're no longer using the term scarce skills now. You have to just note that extent of shortage options, short term, meaning that will be 3 to 6 months, medium is 7 to 11 months, and also there's long term is 12 months plus. So possible reason now selectable skills gap, lack of experience, high demand, and so forth. So those are some of the options that you'll find in a drop-down menu when you're filling that form. So option to add additional hard-to-fill vacancy, multi-entry enabling. So those are some of the changes. So you will note that when you start going through Form 3, when you're submitting your WSP ATR. So in terms of Form 4, skills gaps, and then this also we have added a definition just to say what is a skills gap. A skills gap refers to the deficiencies in employees or lack of specific competencies that prevent employees from undertaking job tasks successfully to the required industry standards. So in terms of the key changes at a glance are the following: form officially renamed from critical skills to skills gaps that you have to note, and SDF to specify the most common skills gaps in their organization, OFO classification fields retained, major group, and so forth, according to the categories that I have mentioned earlier. Top 3 education and training interventions can now be captured per skills gap. So each skills gap you have to put your top 3 education and training interventions. Each intervention include NQF alignment, so that is very important to note. Form 12, the changes here were a bit comprehensive or detailed. So we, for example, some of the things we speak to, first we speak to a new definition of change drivers and a new definition of emerging occupations. So in terms of the change drivers, we speak to factors changing a sector and causing it to develop in a certain way. These are factors that affect and skills demand and or supply. In terms of the new definition for emerging occupations, in this we say new jobs that appear due to evolving industry needs are often driven by technological advancement, economic shift, or the move to a green economy. That is a new definition that we are using for emerging occupation. There are some of the new fields that we have been added for enhancement in Form 12, the change driver, of course, for art technologies, emerging occupations. In each of these new fields, of course, what we do is also we provide a definition of what this is, as you see, and also there are some of the drop-down menus as well in terms of some of these new fields. So for example, in terms of the change drivers, we'll say identify 3 major change drivers in your organization, specify implications of each change driver. So what is the implication for skills development of each change driver? So the 4R technologies rate the extent use of, for example, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and so forth, and then indicate the impact on employment growth and innovation. And lastly, of course, emerging occupations. In this one, we say capture new and emerging occupations, capture current green, digital skills. These could be, for example, skills needed for just energy transition. I just wonder how many of you here know about the just energy transition. No, I'm tempted to ask if you can raise hand if you've got an idea of what that is. I wouldn't say give me details, but it's fine. The reason why I was just curious if the people know us, because we are a country which always have some new things. Of course, we are driven by a lot of what is happening worldwide, and we've got many other economic partners. There's some economic or development agencies and so forth that influence even our skills development or labor market per se. Because of, for example, if you speak to green economy, all of these new things like moving from the fossil fuels to green economy and so forth, it affects even our skills development in landscape in South Africa. So sometimes then we come with new terms of what are we going to term this and how are we going to present to the role players, the employers, in this case, the SETAs, and many other role players in the sector. So I'm curious if the people actually know about the just energy transition, but I won't go there. But it's interesting concept that you need to look into, even in your case of your skills development within your organization, to say, are we aligned with the government aspirations and maybe strategic goals in terms of energy and so forth, and particularly what are some of the skills that are emerging within my own organization as a consequence of responding to just energy transition. That is the end of my presentation. Thanks so much, colleagues, for your time, and I will take questions. Back to you, Program Director. Should I sit now? There's no need to stand here. Okay.
Thank you, Abongile. Now it's time for questions. Take note what Abongile has presented, the authorization form. It's very important, and I'm sure I can bet 100 rands that all the queries that Butle has mentioned, she's sitting with, it's about the authorization form. If you don't understand or you need some more clarity, we are here to assist. And also don't forget the focus groups. It's not only the submission of WSPs, there's also focus groups. We also still need your input in those groups. You will get emails. It's not bogus emails. Sometimes the service provider will email you directly. If you are not sure, it says MICT SETA, you can call us. We'll verify. Any questions? I'm just looking for hands. I know we're supposed to be on T, but you can stretch it if there are any questions on Abongile's presentation. Everything is clear? Looks like I have seasoned SDFs. They know everything. Just take note also on the updated forms he highlighted. So we're supposed to go on T from 11. Oh, we're supposed to be coming back at 11. But can I propose that we take 15 minutes break for tea, and then we'll come back on the LMS. Thank you. Yeah. So we're coming back at 11:19. Thank you.
nobody's ever gonna take your place. Yeah, I think we should meet in the middle. I follow you 'cause you're the light of the day. I need you like you need me, it's so simple. It's so simple.
into our second segment of the agenda, which is the LMS demonstration by Timothy Chweni. Tim has been a consistent help since the inception of the LMS. So I know most of you also know him. He's always there to assist you with any IT support. So from now until the end of April, he's always available if there are any technical issues that you may encounter while you're busy with your submissions. Tim is always available. Tim, over to you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, can we take questions after Tim has presented? Then we'll take questions.
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Timothy Chweni. I'll be presenting to you the LMS system, which we always assist you on and build some of your recommendations from you, which you are our stakeholders. So, colleagues, what I will do, I will just demo the ILMS from, for those who are new to this, I'll start from our website and direct you on in terms of how you get access to the LMS. But before I can go to that point, we also accompanied the SSP team, which I also have my colleagues, which I came with, and Nokomojela and additional 4 interns that can assist you if you have your PC opened right now and then you need assistance. You can quietly raise your hand and then they can come to you for any assistance. Okay. So, colleagues, I'll start here. So this is our website where you will go to stakeholder login and you go to LMS login. That's where you will find this page, which it is the landing page for the LMS system. On the landing page of the LMS system, what you need to do, if you are a new SDF, you can register yourself. You provide your first name, last name, email address. You choose your ID type here, whether it's an SAID or passport. You provide your ID. You select a role here. So in terms of selecting the role, because currently we are talking about SDF, you will select the SDF role. But if I may explain other roles, the learning program side, it is for discretionary grant role, and also the SDF is for mandatory grant role. ETQ assessor is for the ETQ side, and subject matter is for the ETQ side. Okay, so today we'll concentrate on the SDF role, which is for mandatory grants. Then you'll select the SDF role. You provide your password, you recapture your password, you agree to the MICT SETA policy, and you click this option, which you are not a robot. You select the correct information here. Then after that, that's when now you can click register. Again, if you interact with us from different division, for example, you submit your WSP and also you submit your mandatory grant, please note that you don't need to change your email when it comes to this system. You need to use one email and you are going to have multiple roles using that one email. So you will use the same information to register and you select a different role. The system will validate your information and add an additional role into your profile. Okay. Now I'll log in as an SDF because I have a registered profile. Once you log in, this is what you'll find if you have multiple roles. If you are dealing with learning programs, you'll select this one, and SDF, which is this is the role, and ETQ assessor, here it is. So what you will do, you will select the SDF one if you want to deal with SDF submission or mandatory grants. Under SDF profile, this is the landing page. At the below is the announcement, historical company information, progress here. On the left-hand side, we have a navigation, and also on the right-hand side, the top right side, it's where you log out, it's where you find our user manual. You can ask questions to our divisions. You select the division, you provide a title, and you put your question here. And if you have multiple roles, you don't need to log out and log in again. What you can do is just to switch your role from here. You will just select learning program. Now you moved into the learning program, and you select back the SDF role. You moved into the SDF side. So you don't need to log in, log out. You just need to switch your role like this. On the left-hand side, we have our dashboard, which is a landing page. It has a countdown. Profile, it's where you provide your information, the SDF information, personal information, contact information, SDF information, and now here it's where you change your password if you wish to change your password. But as you noticed, our system forces you to change your password each and every month. So yeah, that's where, and remember the character length of our password is 14 characters. We don't use 8. It's because we also contain some information where it talks about disbursements and grants information here. That's why we make our password policy to be long. Now, when it comes to SDF documents, this is where we share documents with you. It can be a user manual, it can be a template, C code, any information that we need to share with you, you'll find it under SDF documents, okay? SDF registration, this is where you register yourself as an SDF. I'll come back to it. WSP, this is where you apply for your WSP. Then secondary SDF, this is where now, if you already linked to a company as an SDF, now you can add your secondary SDF to that company so that they can assist you to submit information, but they cannot submit an application to MICT SETA, meaning that if you need them to upload documents, add additional information, they can do that, but they cannot click the button to submit. So as a primary SDF, what you need to do, you need to come verify the information that they have loaded into the system, and then you click submit, okay? Then I'll go back to SDF registration. Under SDF registration, you see we have windows here. So currently we are on this window. So what you do, you provide your personal information. Automatically, the system, if you already filled in your profile, it will take the information, bring it here. You just verify the information. Then at the below, that's where we added a new feature where you need to upload your ID as an SDF. Then you come here, you upload your ID, you click save. You go to the next page, you provide your SDF information, also you click save. Then the most important part is this one here. As an SDF, you know that you can submit or link yourself to multiple companies, meaning that you are an ISDF, an independent SDF. Then if you are an SDF employed by the employer, then you can only submit for one company, but we don't restrict you to submit for multiple. So what is happening here, you need, at the top table here, this is where you'll find companies that you were previously linked with in the previous financial year, meaning that once you find those companies here, what you need to do, there will be an action button, you just click confirm, to confirm that you are still working with those companies. You don't need to link yourself again. Once you click confirm, it takes you to the WSP, and then you can submit your WSP without going through the process of being evaluated again as an SDF. Okay? But if you are a new SDF, you want to link yourself to a new company, what you need to do is to click link a new company, then you provide the STL number. I just have my dummy information here, and then once you click search, it populates the information of the company. Then you provide the CIPC document for that company, and then you load it here. Okay? Once you're done with that, then you will have a company added like this one here. So if you check here, we have statuses. We have an approved company, we have a returned company, and also this one is on the initial stage where I still need to submit this application. Okay, so you go and click edit. Once you click edit, you go down. That's where now you need to submit the information. Firstly, you'll see the company SDL number, the company name. Then you go to submission details. You provide this information, which you will indicate which industry is this company involved, and then you will select from our subsectors. Then you also need to answer this question: are you a consultant or acting for the employer? Then you need to select yes or no. Then indicate the method of appointment. We have this list here, which you'll select one, the method of appointment. You will also need to select the SDF functions, which we have this list here. After you have done that, you click save. Then you move to authorizer. The authorizer, it can be the director of the organization, CEO, top management. So here you provide the authorizer information, the title, first name, last name, male, female, and also you provide the contact details, the email address, and also you provide the ID or passport information here. Then you click save. Once you click save from this page, automatically the system sends an email to the authorizer alerting them that SDF Timothy is linking himself to your company. Please be prepared to provide the authorization form. Then if they don't know SDF Timothy, then that's when now they can consult MICT SETA to say, we don't know Timothy, we still have our own SDF currently, so we don't know who's applying for us, that side. Then this part here is the banking details. You provide the banking information for the company, which will provide the bank name, account holder, bank type, and the account number, which is this one. Then you also upload your bank letter. Then you click save also. Then we move to subsidiary. If you have subsidiary companies, what you need to do, you just click add. You provide also the SDL number, you search your company, you indicate the number of employees, you add the subsidiary company here. If you don't have it, you can jump this option. Secondary SDF, you can add a secondary SDF on this point. Currently, I did add myself again here. So in terms of secondary SDF, if you can see here, I have 3 companies. If I link a secondary SDF to this company here, this person is not going to be able to see this information of other companies. They can only see this company because I linked them on this company. So when you link your secondary SDF, you must link them to, if you want them to see all the information, you must go under each and every company and link them, okay? Because if you link them on one company, that's what they will see. They won't see other companies. Then after linking the secondary SDF, and also when you link the secondary SDF, you provide their name, last name, email address, cell phone number, also their ID type, which is passport or SA ID. You also attach their ID PDF document. Then that's when now you go to the submission side. Under submission side, if you have completed all the information, the summary here will be ticked green. But if some of the information is not completed, then you will have a red X here to indicate that you did not upload some of the information. But before you submit, we have the template of the appointment letter here. So you need to download the appointment letter. Let me do this. So this is our template. As you know, on our template, we just give you guidance in terms of how do you create your appointment letter. You provide your company letterhead and also indicate the date here. You provide your physical address. You leave this information the way it is, and also this header here. Then when it comes to this part, that's where now you need to replace some information. So you are going to replace this naming of Mr. John Doe and company XYZ because the letter reads, this serves to confirm that we have appointed Mr. John Doe. You need to put the correct name of your SDF as a primary skills development facilitator or secondary skills development facilitator for our company XYZ, and then you replace, you put the correct company name, you provide the correct SDL number, and you provide the SDL information, the SDF information, Then it gets signed by someone, executive, the director, or any person that holds high position in your organization. Okay, after you have done that, you convert the document into a PDF, you come and upload it here. Once you have uploaded the attachment, that's when you can submit the SDF registration, which will follow the internal processes. Here we have a timeline, but mostly it is used by us internally, where we track your information. When did you save the personal details, upload an attachment, submit your application? Okay. Before I move to the WSP part, colleagues, do you have any question? Okay, thank you. No questions. Now I move to the WSP part. Once you went through the process of being approved by our internal team, remember they can approve, they can return the application back to you so that you can fix if you have attached a wrong attachment. Instead of ID, you attach something else. They will return your application and indicate that please attach the correct documents. Then you need to fix that, resubmit the application back to us. So once they approve you, you'll find this under WSP submission. So you don't need to put it automatically, it comes here because you are approved, and here the status, registration status will say approved, but on the WSP will remain started until you submit it. To indicate that you have submitted the WSP, the status must change to submitted, this part, under WSP status. So what you need to do here, you just click the action button, you open your WSP, then this is the part of the WSP page. So you'll find your company details information here. Which is loaded with the CIPC document. You can check if the information is still correct. And then if you have changed the address, then you can also indicate that. And also, if the CIPC information has changed, you can also upload the latest one here under WSP, and you click Save Company Details. Authorizer information also gets pulled from the SDF registration. This is the information of the authorizer, and then you just save it. Banking details also gets pulled from the SDF registration. If the letter is not outdated, then you can leave it the way it is. If it is outdated, then you can upload the recent bank letter. Okay? Subsidiary companies, your list of subsidiary companies will be listed here if you have any subsidiary. But if you wish to add them during the WSP, you have an option to add them here. You can search the company, then you indicate number of employees, then you add your subsidiary company. Then we move to the important point where now we are going to show you from form number 1 up to form number 13. So mostly I will concentrate more on form number 1, where we need to pay attention, and what we do in form number 1, it also applies in some of the forms on the system. So we need to look into this part mostly, and then it applies to some of the forms going down. So this is the employment profile. Let me delete some of my previous presentation. So under employment profile, this is what you'll find. So you have 2 options to load your employment profile. You can use a bulk upload, or you can add the information on the system. When adding the information on the system, you just click here. Colleagues, if you check on this page, some of our stakeholders, they were asking us, how about when we capture this information, we provide ID numbers so that automatically the system can know the list of people that we are having. But it is going to be difficult for large organizations where they have more than 3,000 employees, 6,000 employees. So for small organization, yes, it's easy. You'll capture 20 or less than 50 IDs, and then you save the information. Then the system automatically, since you have captured the IDs, it can select how many males, females, and because looking at your ID structure. But it is not possible for large organizations. That's why we decided that when it comes to this information, colleagues, we are going to group the information. So what you need to do, if you have managers, you select and say managers, and then you also indicate the sub-major. Let me go for this one. And then you also indicate the occupation, maybe the occupation under manufacturing. So now you have grouped this. If you have financial managers, if you have 10 of them, then you group them. Then you need to indicate how many male African managers, female, colored, and Indians, whites. So that's how we group them, down to capture each and every person one by one. Okay, so currently here I'll just capture 1, and then I put 2 here, I put 1 here, I put 1 here. So the total number here of the employees, if you check, we have 5 employees. And also when it comes to the disabled, so for example, here I have 2. I can't come this side and say 3 disabled, because the number of disabled comes from male and female. So here we rather have 1 or less or 2. So the number that needs to come here, it must not be more than this number combined with this number also. If it's like this, we can have 3 or less. Okay? Then when it comes to this part, again, you need to indicate the age group. When it comes to the age group, now you need to understand the total male and female. The total male and female now, it is 6. 1 plus 1 here is 4, plus 2, it is 6. Now you can put it like this, or you can put it like this. It is still fine, as long as the number here at the bottom, when you combine them, it is equals to 6. Then going down, you can put it like this. So you are indicating the age group here. Also at the below, you are indicating the skills level. So you need to put these numbers accordingly. For example, let me try and put a wrong number here. When I try to save, then I get the exception from the system. So I need to read the exception, come back to the system, and fix my numbers so that it gives me 6. Then once I fix this, when I click save, now the system can save the information. So all these validations are here. The system won't be able to allow you to save information which is incorrect. Then when it comes to, and then also it indicates that the total employees here at the top, it is 6. Then when it comes to bulk upload, you need to download a template here. You can download it from here, or you can go into our document site and download the template. But I will prefer you download it closer to where you are during your application. Okay? So I already have some of the forms, but let me just CPT SSP. So I've downloaded one of my forms. So what is happening here, colleagues, please don't copy and paste information from a different spreadsheet into the spreadsheet, because this spreadsheet automatically, it is logged and it uses functions that are aligned with the system. Once you tamper with the spreadsheet, then the system will reject your spreadsheet. Okay? So what you need to do when it comes to this, we have the same validations. In terms of validations, firstly, the system auto-populates the information. You can select the drop-downs. You need to select the offer code, occupation, then automatically it displays your offer code. Then you need to indicate your municipality. So once you click your box here, you can also type if you wish to search your municipality, so that you don't scroll down for too long. Then you can quickly find your municipality. Now you can indicate number of male, female, colored, and others here. So automatically when you capture this information, it it counts the number of males and females here. So we have total males. So also it's not a must to capture each and every box where you need to put a 0 to indicate that there is no male or female under this group. So what you need to do, you can jump it, but if you get distracted, if you leave blank spaces, you can put 0 like this, okay? Then after you captured this information, now you need to indicate the age group. This is the part of the age group from U to W. You need to indicate the age group here. You need to calculate the total number of males and females. It gives you 5, meaning that when it comes to your age group, you need to indicate the age group accordingly. Also, the total number of the age group needs to be 5 here. 1, 2, 2, it's equals to 5 also, and then you need to indicate also the skills level, which I can do the same. 1, 2, let me just make a mistake, 2, 3. Then I save my document. So we have a mistake there. Then I'll try and upload my document. Again, colleagues, what we did, we saw that you are struggling when it comes to the CSV conversion. So we allow CSV and a normal spreadsheet, so you can upload any of those. If you wish to convert to a CSV, you can convert to a CSV, or you can just upload your spreadsheet the way it is. Okay. Let me go under my downloads, then try and upload the document. So because I have a mistake on that document, it will reject that row. But if I have a few rows that has correct information, the information was going to be populated here. Then what you need to do, you need to go to your bulk outcomes also. Under bulk outcomes, it will tell you that the date is today. It will tell you and show you that, okay, you have a mistake on row number 4, okay, which the total, the group total needs to be equal to all the demographic total, black, colored, and white. So now we know that we have a mistake, sorry to do that. We have a mistake on row number 4, and then we go back to our spreadsheet. Then you need to look into your spreadsheet, your numbers, and then the number which was having a mistake here, it is this, where it is 3. Now I turned it into 2. I save the data, and I saw something about the notification on that. I'm going to fix it. Then after you fix that part, you save your spreadsheet, then you close it, you go to the system, you re-upload the spreadsheet. I believe it has 5 employees. 5 plus 6 is going to be 11. Now we have total of 11 employees. Okay, so this is how you deal with your bulk spreadsheet. So again, let's say you have a spreadsheet that contains 50 employees or 20 employees. If the system gives you that row number 3, row number 7, and row number 10, they have mistakes, you can decide not to go back to the spreadsheet and reload the entire spreadsheet. you can come and load the information of row number 5 manually here into the system, and row number 10 and row number 20 here into the system without going into your spreadsheet. But if you will go back into your spreadsheet and you want to re-upload it again, what you need to do, you need to delete the data that was previously uploaded so that you can re-upload again. Because if you don't delete the entire data, it is going to duplicate the information. Okay? Then also, if you wish to edit the information, you can come here and edit the information that you have provided previously. If you wish to delete, you can delete it here. Again, I'll try and load information for more than 50 employees so that we can have an option for the training committee here. I'll just be quick when it comes to that. And then let's say I have 20, 10, 10, 10. Then automatically I have 50, so here I'll just say 20, 20, and 10 here in terms of age group. And then when it comes to skills level, 20 and 10. Then I save the information. Now I have 61 employees. The training committee side now appears. So in terms of the training committee, I already populated some of the training committee in the previous session. So currently we are looking for a trade union, employee representative, and employer representative. Okay, so I'll just remove one, the trade union part. So you can now have an option to add the information from here. So this is the information that will be required when you add the training committee part. Okay. Then some of the organizations, they don't have a trade union, then meaning that they will only provide the employer representative and employee representative on this part. Then we move to the second form where you need to provide the budget, the training budget. You'll capture your training budget. I just captured 5 Rand and 10 Rand so that if there is a mistake in the system, I can afford that one. Then we move to the third form, which it's hard to fill. This is a form where we changed the information. I'll just delete some of the information so that I can show you. So this is the hard to fill form. On the hard to fill, we start by specifying what is hard to fill, vacancy, and then after specifying it, now you have a question where we ask you, do you have any hard to fill? When you say no, then it means you can pass this form. You need to just say no and then you save, meaning that you cannot capture any hard to fill. But once you say yes, you have, then we ask how many, and then you need to indicate. Whether it's 20 or 2 or 3, then you need to indicate that. You click save. Once you click save, then the system gives you an option to add the hard to fill. On the hard to fill, now this is the form, which we also revamped the form. You firstly start by indicating the major, OFOO, sub-major, occupation, and the specialization. Then after that, we ask a question here. What are the top 3 education and training interventions your organizations require to address the identified hard to fill? Then you need to indicate the top 3 here. You'll find the drop downs where you need to indicate if it's under bursary, and then you indicate is it NQF aligned or not. When you say yes, then you need to indicate the NQF level. Then the second intervention, parentage, NQF aligned, no, then you don't need to put the NQF level. The third one, it is a short program, NQF aligned, no, then you don't need to input the NQF level also, but when you say yes, you need to provide the NQF level. Then if there is other interventions that we did not cover, then you can use this option of other intervention. You will type your intervention, indicate whether it's NQF aligned or not. Then also now, after that, now you need to answer this part. What are the possible reasons for those hard to fill? Then you need to indicate from these reasons, whether it's a demographical issue or geographical or lack of experience, skills gap, then you select one of those reasons. Extents of shortage, we also provided the options here. We indicated what is a long-term, medium-term, and short-term. Then are there any plans to recruit from outside of the Republic? When you say yes, you need to indicate how many. When you say no, then you don't need to indicate how many, then you save the information, okay? Then the button here will always be visible because you said you have 2 hard to fill vacancies. So when it comes to the submit option also, the system won't allow you to submit your WSP until you come and fill in the information according to what you have indicated here. So I will need to capture the second one, which I will be a little bit first. So I jumped some of the information here. Let me just fill in the OFO codes first. Then after providing the OFO codes, let me indicate the interventions. NQF aligned, yes, which NQF level, the intervention number 3, NQF aligned, yes, which NQF level. Then other intervention, I'll jump it. And then I come to the demographics, reasons, and the extents of shortage. I don't plan to recruit outside of the Republic. Then I save the information. Once you save the second part, now the button disappears, meaning that now the system can allow you to submit your WSP since you provided the information for this form. Okay? Then you go to the skills gap. Under skills gap, also we change some of the information here. Firstly, we indicate what is the skills gap. Then after that, you need to add the skills gap. So firstly, you need to indicate also the OFO code major and sub-major. I'll just select from here. And the specialization. Then also on the skills gap, we say, please specify the most common skills gaps in your organization. Then you can type in that common skills gap, and then we come here again, we say the top 3 education and training interventions your organizations require to address the skills gap. Then you need to indicate those top 3 here. The same way where you did what you did on the hard to fill, this is how you will do it again. you indicate the 3 interventions. And if in NQF aligned, no. Then if you have other intervention, you can capture it here. If you don't have, then you can just save the information. So that's how we deal with skills gap. Then form number 5, it talks about the WSP, PTP annual payroll. Then that's where you need to indicate your total annual payroll, and also if you have a number of employees, you can now capture it here, the total number of employees. Currently, we are no longer taking the total number of employees that was under the employment profile and auto-populate it here, because there are some of the changes in your organization. You find that you have additional employees, so we need to get that total number. So after that, you save the information. We go to form number 6. Under form number 6, that's what I've indicated under form number 1. What you need to do, you can download a template from here, and then you follow the same process that I've showed you in the previous on employment profile, and then you upload your template. If you don't want to use the bulk upload template, you can capture the information here, which it is the same method actually to capture the information. And also form number 7, it does also have the same thing as form number 1 and number 6. So you choose whether you capture the information from the system or you can use a bulk upload, colleagues. From number 8, there's form number 8, it is not compulsory for first-time applicant, meaning that if an organization, this is their first time submitting for the WSP, this part is not compulsory because it talks about actual training. If they have never trained, then they can't capture anything from here. But if they have trained, they can be able to capture the information. Okay? Then form number 9 also, it is not compulsory for first-time applicant, which talks about PTR training, actual training also. Then they need to capture that information. Then we also have information like training budget spend. You are the first-time applicant, you don't have any budget, you can jump this. But automatically for those organizations that they have previously submitted the WSP, there's 3 options. The system will force them to fill in these 3 options. Okay? Then on the variance report, also if you are the first-time applicant, you won't have any variance report. But I know that the previous SDFs, they can see their variance report so that they are able to see their total planned trainings, variance, and some of the reasons, and we indicate the percentage in terms of their achievement to their variance. Okay? So they also save the variance report, but if you are the first-time implementer, the variance report is not a must. Then we come to the important part again, which it is organizational survey. So on the organizational survey, we changed the question. If you look into the previous financial year WSP submission, we don't have the same question. But what we did, we tried to scale down our questions so that this long is not too long for you. So we changed some of the question. What you need to do, you need to fill in this information. And please note that each and every field, it is a required field. So you need to indicate none if it's not applicable to you, but each and every field, it is required. Then after you have provided the information, you click Save. Then we go to impact assessment. Also on the impact assessment, all fields are required. You just need to answer the questions on impact assessment and you click save also. Then we move to the last part, which is the attachments. Under attachments, we will need your WSP authorization form, which you are going to print from here. If you are a large organization, when you print your WSP authorization form, it will have your training committee members here. And if you are is just a small organization, the authorization form will only display the authorizer and the SDF information. Okay? Then you will sign the authorization form, come back to the system, upload the authorization form. We don't have a delete option, but what you do, you re-upload the document, it will override the previous attachment. You provide your BE or SON affidavit attachments. You also provide the training committee or employment equity committee minutes here. That's where you upload them. Then at the below, this is where now you need to provide your proof of training, which we accept financial statement, we accept also training fact files, we accept the certificates and the transcripts. This is what we accept here in terms of proof of training. So what you need to do, if you have more evidence, you need to combine your PDFs and upload it, because we only give you we give you options to upload 5 attachments. So if you have more than 5 attachments, please combine your attachments to be 1. Okay, but they must not pass the 10 megabytes size here. Okay. Then you look into the summary of your application. You will find the employment profile summary here that indicates the total males, female, disabled, and total employees. And then here also you'll find the summary of your WSP. Then here it's where you look in terms of the forms that you jumped. If there is a form that you have jumped, then you will find a cross, and also the submit button won't be visible for you. Okay? Once everything is fine, you can click the submit button, and the status of your application will change to submitted. I won't submit mine, so the status of your application will change to this one, which is submitted. Okay? Any questions, colleagues? Colleagues, please, if we have additional mics. I saw one hand.
Hi.
Hi.
I've done my WSP already, so I'm going to ask for people that maybe is new, okay? So I've got a twofold question. First of all, you asked the payroll total. What is SETA? It's a twofold question, so it depends what you're going to answer me now. If I give you my total payroll, what are you going to do with that info?
The WSP team, can you please assist with this one? But I believe it goes with your WSP, your levies, because, sorry, yes?
Yeah, that's important because we've picked up before that the payroll is a certain amount, which should show how many levies you get, and so that you guys can calculate. But sometimes SARS is not paying that full amount over. Is SETA checking that to make sure the full amount does come across from SARS according to the payroll, what the client is telling you, because there is discrepancies there sometimes. And if you're not aware of it, like I know what to check for, then people won't even pick up that there is discrepancies.
Okay.
And then the other thing I want to also mention is you said if it's a new client, you don't have to do an ATR. Maybe if it is still the same, usually if you don't do an ATR, you won't get levies back that year, you only get the following year. Is it still the same like that? Okay, so it's not anymore, but you have to submit the ATR as well. Okay.
As long as you have submitted your WSP, it's a new company. You have that, ne? Okay. Okay. So as long as you have submitted your WSP, even if it's a new company and it's approved, you'll definitely get your levies back. You don't have to do your ATR and your PTR. It's a new company. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, I think we have 2 questions in Cape Town. Okay.
Sorry, I actually just wanted to ask. I remember last year it was a new requirement that if you submit internal training, you had to give proof of costing of your internal training as well. We had to do one on a company letterhead because obviously the attendance or the internal training forms don't contain costing on it because obviously you want to keep it confidential as far as possible. Is it still a requirement for this year as well that we need to submit proof of costing for internal training?
Internal training, you can just write a letter confirming that this is internal training. You upload it under your proof of training. We allow it.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I got a question just regarding the STL refund, well, the reimbursement of the mandatory. Is it refunded on a quarterly basis, or when does SETA refund that? Because my client is reporting that it's coming very ad hocly into their bank account.
So the payments are done on a quarterly basis. Maybe if I may check, when did they approve your WSP? Because the first payment must be in September, and then the second one is December. The third one is March the following year, and then the last one is June the following year. So we pay quarterly. But it depends as when did they pay, did they approve your WSP?
Okay, I'll check.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, colleagues. This will be the end of the demonstration. The next speaker will take over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim. Indeed, it is a secure system. As you can see, Tim has also affirmed that you need to change your password every 30 days to make sure that your information is protected. We are building the system together. Remember I said this is our system, MICT SETA, so we are building it together with you as stakeholders. So we appreciate your constructive input. Anything as you are super users on the system, if there's anything you see that you needs improvement, nothing is too small, just send us an email. Tim and his team will appreciate any feedback on the system so that we can grow it together. On the bulk upload, I know I get lots of queries. My spreadsheet is not working. You heard from Tim, don't change, don't mess with that spreadsheet. It's protected, it's closed. Or else you just go directly to the system and capture one by one. Also be just rest assured that the information that you have captured on the system It is saved on the system. You can go anytime you want, go back to the system and check what you have captured. So most SDFs normally call us, am I going to lose my information? No, you won't lose your information on the system. It will always be there. And now, I know we are running a little bit late to our scheduled agenda, but this is also very, very important. Remember, we have limited staff at MICT SETA. We don't have a luxury of having a call center to attend to all your queries. It's only be Karabo, Ben. And I forgot to also mention Ben. Ben is here, stakeholders, to show his face. I know he's helped you a lot, and every one of you know Ben Mukolom. Ben is over there hiding, but he's attending to all the online questions and queries. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, as I said, we don't have the luxury of having a call center as a MICT SETA to attend to all your queries. But however, we've put a lot of effort on the SDF manual to make it easier, simpler, simple English. Everything is just simpler so that you can use it on your own without even picking up a phone to call anyone. The SDF manual will answer most of your questions. And now I'll call upon Louis Lebang.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon. How are you? Colleagues, I understand that you are tired. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, so I'm just going to be quick because I see that you are tired, but this is very much important that you also get this information so that you can be able to proceed with your submissions. So, yeah, allow me just to use my simplest English. I'm not going to be speaking in terms with different terms. I'm just going to be using simple English like myself. So, colleagues, I'm just going to be taking you through the overview of the updated SDF reference manual. So, previously, we had the SDF reference manual that our existing SDFs, they were using it to continue doing their submissions for WSP and ATR as well as registering for themselves as an SDF. So we as MICT SETA, we did update that SDF reference manual so that you can be able to maneuver through the system while you're busy registering yourself as an SDF as well as submitting your workplace skills plan. So we decided to update this SDF reference manual. So the main purpose for me to be here is just to take you through the changes that was done and also to take you through that SDF reference manual where you can be able to get the information much more easier for you. So what has changed? So on these slides, I have what's new and where to access it and why use it. So LMS necessitates new navigation support and a more practical, accessible guide for referencing. So like I said, this SDF reference manual, it's just here to assist you where you can be able to go through the system. Like for instance, what the ICT were presenting just now, their demonstration, so you can be able to go through that system so that you can be able to do your submissions. And the other thing is where to access this. So someone can ask me where to get this SDF reference manual. So for you to be able to get an access to that SDF reference manual, colleagues, you have to go to the MICT SETA website, and then you will have this page. So once you have this page, you will come to on this option that says what we do. Then you will come to the sector skills planning. Then you will come to skills development facilitator. Then you click on this one, and then the system will now take you to this page. So colleagues, this is your updated SDF reference manual for you to use. So for you to open it, you can just click on it like this, and then your SDF reference manual will appear to you like this. Then you will be able to go through this SDF reference manual. So I'll go back to my slides. Why are we supposed to use this SDF reference manual? The manual represents a fundamental shift in how we support SDFs. It is organized into 11 comprehensive sections, each designed to build knowledge and capability when navigating the LMS. So we just want to give you more information, colleagues, while you're doing your submission, so that you're not going to be experiencing challenges and also having the delayed in your WSP and ATR approvals while you wanted to have this triple BEE evaluation. So that is why we managed to update this SDF so that you can be able to not to experience the same challenges you experienced the previous financial years. So what has changed? The manual represents a fundamental shift in how we support skills development facilitators, build with your feedback and design for practical applications. So this SDF reference manual, it has step-by-step integrated learner management guidelines. It has the short instructional videos. It has the practical templates and checklists, and also the clear explanations. Like for instance, when you want to have clear understanding on how the OFO codes work, so this SDF reference manual, it has the section where it explains those OFO codes in details so that you can be able to understand what needs to be done in line with those OFO codes while you're doing your submissions. So I will be taking you through the step-by-step that are indicated on that SDF reference manual. Like I said, navigate the system with confidence using clear sequential instructions. So this SDF, it shows you, it gives you the step-by-step, for instance, on how to register yourself as a new SDF on the system. So it has the step-by-step where you will be able to go through how to log in, how to register yourself, how to populate those personal details in order for you to get registered as an SDF. So it has the short instructional videos. So I'll take you through those short instructional videos and play them so that you can be able to see what I'm talking about, where you'll be able to watch as well as reading what needs to be done. And also the practical templates and the checklist. So there are checklists and the templates that you need to be using. For instance, like the SDF appointment letter, it's there, that inter-SETA in and inter-SETA out transfer template. It's also on this SDF reference manual so that you can be able to get them. And okay, colleagues, let me just go to this SDF reference manual. So once you go to the MICT SETA website and click on those steps that I've shown you on how to access this SDF reference manual, it will appear like this from your site. So this SDF reference manual, colleagues, it has 11 sections like I mentioned earlier on. So I'll just take you through on each and every section just to go through it. So the first section, it has the introduction about the skills development and the main purpose of the skills development, as well as the SETA mandates. So this section, it explains in details what is the skills development, what is the mandate of this skills, what is the purpose of this skills development, as well as the mandate of the SETA in line with this mandatory grant. So if you need more information regarding this, so this section it's there for you to assist you so that you can have clear and more information for you to understand. Then section 2, it talks about the roles of the skills development facilitator. So in this section explains the roles and the main, it has the roles and the main responsibilities of you as an SDF, what needs to be done, what is it that I need to do as an SDF in this process. So it explains that information that you need to be implying on this section, as well as the requirements while you are being appointed as an SDF, where it also tells you that you need to have that appointment letter so that you can be able to submit it on the system. So section 3, it talks about the legislative framework. So this section, it has the legislations that are explained on this section. It has the different legislations as well as their main aim. Colleagues, my apologies for not zooming this. Some of you, I see you are wearing your glasses. Sorry about that. So you can also maximize this SDF reference manual to a point where you are fine with your eyesight. So this section, it talks about the legislations, like I said earlier on, and it also has the main aim of those legislations. So if you need anything that is in line with the legislations, this section 3, it's there for you so that you can have more information about it. Section 4, it talks about the workplace skills plan and annual training report guidelines, the WSP and ATR guidelines. So this section, it guides you with the process of your ATR and WSP submissions. It also has the background and the introduction and the purpose of the WSP and ATR, what needs to be done and how to do those things. So this is the section for you where you can be able to maneuver as well on the system. It also has the alignments with the BBBEE where you can have more information about that, what needs to be done and what not. Okay. Required documentations for WSP and ATR submissions. So, colleagues, you will understand that we have small, medium, and large companies. So the requirements for documentations, they differ when it comes to those company sizes. So this section, it has those sections where you can be able to see that if my company is small, what are the documentations that are needed for me to submit my WSP and ATR. If it's medium, same applies to large as well, so that you're not gonna complicate the documentations that are required. Because if your company was small and you know that you were submitting this certain documents, and now you are dealing with a large company, so the required documentations are going to be different. So you need to have that in your mind as well while you're doing your WSP submissions. And then on this page, colleagues, this section, it has our contact email addresses. So it has the email address for our manager and our advisors and administrators for SSP, where you can be able to contact us if you're having challenges with your WSP and ATR submissions, and if you're also having challenges with the way you are trying to complete your submissions on the integrated learner management system. And it also has the inter-SETA transfer, where you will be able to understand what the inter-transfer in SETA means and the inter-SETA transfer out means as well. So it also explains that information so that you can be able to understand what needs to be done for you to go through that. And then section 5, colleagues, it's understanding the organizing framework for occupations. Like I said, we have other sections where it explains about the 04 codes and what needs to be done as well. It also tells you the purpose of the O4 codes in the WSP and ATR processes. So it is very much important for you to go through this section so that when you go through the system, when you're dealing with your O4 codes, doing your submissions, you know what to do and you know what is required as you're doing your submissions on how are you going to use those O4 codes as well. And then, colleagues, we have a section 6 that talks about the training interventions. So you need to know about those interventions that you need to be going to be dealing with. So this section, it also has those training interventions that are recognized by MICT SETA. And then if you can see on this section, we have learnership, internships, and it also has the other section where it explains that when you're talking about learnerships in this section, what are we referring to as well. And then we'll go to, okay, let me do this. Go to the second page, which talks about the skills programs, short programs, the work integrated learning, which is WIL, and the pivotal programs as well. They are here where you can have more clear information about the pivotal programs, what needs to be done as well with regards to that. Section 7, stakeholder engagement. So it has the introduction and the purpose of stakeholder engagement and skills development, whether internal or external. So this section as well, it has that information where you can be able to get that information on, as well as the role of the training committee, where you will understand what is the role of the training committee as well in this part, as well as the engagement with the MICT SETA, what needs to be done. And then, colleagues, so section 8, this section talks about the records management. So it has the introduction and the purpose of records management. You will understand, colleagues, that at the end of the day, we are going to be reporting for audit purposes and for that. So this section, it also tells you about the importance of records management. Like, for instance, it ensures compliance with MICT SETA policies, DEAT directives, and the skills development legislation. So we are being abided by certain legislations. So at the end of the day, we will need to submit the evidence for that for audit purposes. So it is very much important to keep your information for us so that we can be able to use that information when we are reporting. So section 9, it talks about the tools and resources. So this is the section that I was talking about while I was on that section that talks about the template and the checklist. So, colleagues, when you're on this section, you see we have 1 up to 10. These are the templates. So, for instance, I will start by clicking this O4 code spreadsheet. You see it says O4 code spreadsheet. So when you click on this, it's a link. So when you click on this, it will take you through that spreadsheet that you're looking for those O4 codes. So once you click on it, if it's a spreadsheet or if it's a Word document, it will automatically download that which you are looking for. Like, for instance, you see it has downloaded that particular spreadsheet on the site. So you can just be able to open that spreadsheet without having any challenges and waiting for Louis to respond his emails what you are requesting for that O4 codes. Same applies to the inter-SETA transfer form and the SDF letter of appointment template. We'll just click for this one as well so that you can see. So it says open in a new window. So this is the inter-SETA transfer form. So once you click on this, it will appear like this. So then you will have your form without waiting for another week, waiting for Louis to respond to your emails. You see, colleagues, you can just get your documents much more quicker and easy on this section. So same applies to all the other links that are on this section. So these are just the templates. Once you need one of the templates, you can just come to this section and you will get your templates. Then section 10, colleagues, we have navigating the integrated learner management system. So this is the section where it has the screenshots and the videos. So this is in line with what the ICT team was doing while they were demonstrating how to register yourself as an SDF, as well as how to submit your WSP and ATR submissions on the system. So if you can just have a look on this one, it's a screenshot that takes you on how to register yourself first as an SDF, because you can't submit your WSP and ATR if you're not an SDF. So you need to register yourself as an SDF first. So this is the screenshot where it takes you on how to register yourself. Then on this second slide, we have employment profile. So this is the first form, if you can remember, on the WSP and ATR submission while they were ICT team taking us through that. So it has the screenshot which shows you on the employment profile what needs to be done, as well as a short video. So if you can have a look, colleagues, there down there on your right, there's a video here. If you want to have to look at this video, you can just click on this video. I will click it so that it can play, and I keep quiet so that you can hear. I'm not sure if it's my volume. They will assist us with volume, colleagues. But once you click here, this video will play, and then it will be taking you through the same thing that Mr. Timothy was doing while he was showing you how to complete your employment profile there. Yes, the video on there. Yes. It's high. Put it on speaker.
Profile with the add new profile button. Let's start with doing that. Here you'll begin by choosing your OFO major.
Thank you.
As well as the sub-major and the occupation. Then you'll choose your municipality. And here we get to the section where you capture the numbers of people. So if you have 2 African males.
You see, colleagues, this is the same explanation that Mr. Timothy was just doing. So we managed to have those short videos and put them on this SDF reference manual so that you can be able to access them anytime. For instance, if you are struggling with how to fill vacancy where you need to understand for that part only, we have that short video so you can be able to click on it, and then they will
Looking at Form 3, Form 3 is all about hard to fill vacancies. Hard to fill vacancy is a vacancy or occupation that an employer was unable to fill within 12 months, or it took longer than 12 months for the employer to find a suitable.
Yes. So if you can see, colleagues, all the forms that the ICT team assisted us with, they all have the same thing. It's a screenshot and also the video on the other side. So you can be able to click those videos and they will play, and then they will take you through that which you need to understand. You see, all of them, they have those videos. What you need to do is just to check the screenshot and then also go through the video to have that much more understanding. And then section 11, colleagues, frequently asked questions. So we also reserved several questions that colleagues were failing to get answers from them. So we realized that the easiest way for them to get those answers, because most of them, they were asking one question. So we took those questions and answers and put them here. So if you have any questions related to this, you can just come to this last section, which is section 11, and check the question that you have, and you will have an answer. So there's a question, and then we provided an answer in relations to that question that you will be asking for. But if you have a question that is not written on this section, you can be able to write an email to us and ask us those questions, then we will be able to assist you on that. So colleagues, this SDF reference manual, you can be able to have notes on it. So there's a section there on your right there at the top which says add notes. So you can add notes. You can write your notes as you're busy going through this section. And also once you save your notes then will appear on this site. You will come and check them here once you're done. And then you can also be able to bookmark certain sections. You can just come on the site on your right as well. It says bookmark. And then you can also search, colleagues. We have a search button where you can be able to, let's say maybe you wanted something that is related to the InterSETA transfer in or transfer out. So you can just come here and click that word. Then, for instance, you no longer remember which chapter InterSETA transfer is or the section. So you can just search the whole book. Then once you click on this, search the whole book, write in the keyword that you're looking for on that search button. Then this SDF reference manual will search for that indicated word that you have written there. And then it will provide you with where it talks about that word. Then you can just be able to click on that, and then it will take you to that section that talks about that. For instance, if you're talking about InterSETA transfer form, then it will take you to where the InterSETA transfer form is. It has been indicated. And colleagues, someone might want to have this SDF reference manual as an SDF document where you can just have this document on your phone. Be like maybe you're on your way and then you don't want to just go to a website where you can just click and have this document. You can have this SDF reference manual as an SDF document. So you can just go to the ILMS where you register yourself as an SDF. We'll take you through where you can get to this. Then let's say it's you that is registering on the system where you want to log in. Okay, then you will just log in to the system. My apologies, let me just try to log in again. Okay, then you come to this part. Okay. Yeah, I'm almost done, colleagues. Then you log in as an SDF. Then this website, this page will appear like this. Then you will come to this side on your left hand side where it says SDF documents. So on this part of the SDF documents, colleagues, once you click here, you will find this documents that you're looking for. So this is the SDF reference manual that I was dealing with. So you can just click on it and then it will appear like this. Then you will be able to download this SDF reference manual as an SDF, as a PDF document. Then the tricky part about this one as a PDF document, colleagues, on this part you are not going to be able to view those videos. So it's only on the website where you can be able to view those videos on this SDF reference manual. The one as a PDF document, you can just only go through the information that is there and also the pictures where is the screenshots. You can just go through those screenshots and check. You see this one as a PDF document, it appears like this on that section. It's only the screenshots, no longer the videos. But if you want the videos where they play videos, you can still go back to that one on the website. Okay, I will just do this. You see this one, it has videos. The one on the website, it has videos, but the one as a PDF document that you've downloaded it on your phone or on your laptop, it doesn't have those videos. Same applies to those templates when you click, so it's not gonna take you through there. But the ones that is on the website, it's the one that will automatically take you through to those documents so that you can have your documents much more quicker. And then, colleagues, by saying so, this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. Colleagues, don't forget to put your feedback on this one. I'll just put it on a slide mode so that you can scan this. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Any questions for Louis? Don't run away, Louis, just in case. Any questions to Louis? We've seen a facelift on the SDF manual, and you can also get it offline. I think you are going scot-free, Louis. No one has any questions for you. Okay. Then the last agenda item is a thank you from the SSP manager, Kanyisa Jack. Ms. Kanyisa.
Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Kanyisa Jack, as Usistikizwa has indicated. Mine is to just close the session and just thank everyone for attending. I know the numbers were looking a little bit shaky for us in the Western Cape, but thank you very much to the regional staff, the regional manager, for assisting us pull this through. We've been having these sessions across the country. So I also want to just thank the Marketing and Communications Department, who have been really helpful with organizing these sessions and very patient with us. I also want to thank the ICT team. One of the reasons why we only opened the session, rather the system, in January was because we're working on updating the system together with our ICT team. So we've been together, Tim and Nogu, for a while. I just want to thank you for your support and also availing yourselves during this time. I also want to thank the SSP division, all the preparatory work that went into facilitating these sessions, and also being patient with me with all my requests. And thank you to our valued stakeholders as well for your participation. These sessions were designed to assist you with the application process. So I really hope that you found the information that we were sharing with you very helpful. We do have the SDF reference manual that you can make use of. It's something that we've also designed to make sure that your application process is seamless. If you do fail with the reference manual, the team is here to assist you with any queries. As Wuntle has indicated, we have a very quick turnaround time in terms of responding to queries, so we're always here to assist you guys with any of your queries or any of your questions. And then lastly, just to reiterate the submission deadlines, the closing date for the WSP ATR submissions is the 30th of April. We are discouraging requests for extensions. So, but in the event that you do request an extension, please do so before the 30th of April or on the 30th of April. And then lastly, if you have any outstanding queries, please make sure that you address those queries by the 31st of March. And if you have any questions or need assistance in addressing whatever it is that the team has communicated, the team is there, and we've stipulated who the contact persons are for each of the companies that have outstanding queries. But with that said, thank you very much, colleagues, for your support and your attendance. I hope you found our sessions helpful. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing us. Lunch is served. Thank you.
Come on and take me where you wanna go. Please just make it a place that I don't know. What we have here is for sure. We don't hide, 'cause you all just gotta know. We can party